This is RBC Television.
It's the 31st of December, the year is 2024, and today marks the end of the first quarter of the 21st century, according to many people. But the last time this year you're watching RBC, the year is over. And welcome to our annual Year is Over show. If you're unfamiliar with the show, in short, we'll be going over the passing year in detail, one into the historic events that happened both on Roblox and in real life. And in addition, look at some entertainment headlines. Along with that, we have a musical guest that's going to really fit the style of the year. Can't wait for y'all to see that. And we're going to name a new person of the year. But of course, I can't do this all by myself. There's so much information we have to go over tonight, and we've got a team of presenters that's joining us. So, starting off with Toddy, who's going to be talking more about the Roblox news. Sam, of course, he's going to tell us in detail about main news regarding the real world, and then Austin, who's going to give us a report on main entertainment news this year. In addition, we'll also lead in entertainment for the show. So, welcome all. Thank you for joining. Before we get started, tell me, how has y'all's year been, guys? Anybody tell me, how was the year? Did you have a good year, bad year? Let's hear it.
All right. So this year for 2024 was good and a little bit bad. So, actually no, it was all good. So for this year, I became executive director for RBC Television. Then we were able to start our own radio station. Thanks to C Head, and overall, it's been really good. Hopefully, 2025 has more to what's to come.
Hey, great to hear you had a great year. Anybody else?
So this year's been great for me. It's been definitely a roller coaster. I started off in the News 24 division, quickly getting promoted to the head of News 24. But after a short while there, I got invited by Johnny to become the head of scripted and reality, which is where I am now. However, stuff will be changing shortly, and it's some very exciting news that I will be announcing later in tonight's show.
Nice, nice. I'm glad to hear that everybody had a good year and they didn't have a year that sucked. I mean, I had a great year, so great to hear that everybody experienced the same thing. Now, um, Toddy, you're going to be telling us more about the main news on the Roblox platform. So while I'll let you go and get prepared for that. But meanwhile, what are y'all expecting for 2025? Do you have any big plans, Sam? I know you said you had some news you wanted to share.
So the news is I'm going to be moving from scripted and reality over to a new division called Soundover. What Soundover is basically it's responsible for all the sound bites in RBC. Everything's going to be made in the Soundover division. The reason why me and Johnny especially are so excited for this is currently I'm the only voice of RBC, and I'm sure people get sick of hearing me every time they open a YouTube video. So we want to use different voices in different situations, and with this division we can hire people specifically for voiceovers, and we're gonna have people actually, put it all together. So actually get the music and put it all together. But it's going to be really exciting. Lots of new voices, lots of new features. I'm going to stop speaking now because I'm sure Johnny has a lot that he's going to put in his announcement that's very exciting.
Yeah.
I'm only covering a tiny amount of it. So yeah, I'm not going to let it drag on for too long. But yeah, very excited for this new year coming.
Well, you know what? I am very excited for you. That is amazing news to hear. Our radio department has gone crazy in this past year, so it's going to be even better with those sound bites and stuff. But yeah, anybody else have any plans for 2025?
For right now, I don't really have any plans like that. But for right now, I just plan to change my ways and probably get more attached to RBC, more active and stuff.
Yes, I'm glad to hear that. All right, well, I believe Toddy is now ready. So take it away, all the Roblox news from this year. Toddy, over to you.
Thank you so much. This year has certainly not been a quiet one. As many of you know, many major updates and events rocked the platform in 2024, including the return of Roblox events, UI changes, removal of user ads, and more. Let's start this overview all the way back in January. At the end of the month, Roblox fully released live scripting for everyone. That change made it possible for millions of users who make games within the team to write and update the scripts and the experience in real time. This is all possible due to the new script editor API. An API is a way for two softwares to communicate in a way which makes it understandable and why it is a ground rule for this to all work as intended. Also in January, a very controversial update to the platform's interface was released. The home page replaced with icons with thumbnails instead. In February, one of the, or if not, the most controversial update of the year was released. That is, of course, the dynamic price floor that introduced fluctuations to the marketplace. How it works is that when a new UGC item gets added to the marketplace, its creator has to set a minimum price and maximum price that they are willing to sell it on. Roblox will then evaluate the price floor and set a price itself. With this, a new way the prices could automatically increase and many users buy the product, and on the other hand, it could decrease if there are few buyers. Many users on the platform are against these updates. Some are calling this way to raise the prices on the platform, while others are saying it is simply done to hurt the creators and players. There are confirmed reports of creators earning significantly less Robux from their sales after the new update. But February was not all bad. That month, automatic chat translation were added in all experiences, as well as users in the European Union can now report illegal content. Why this is not accessible worldwide is unknown. Now, March was not as busy as February. However, the Haunt, Roblox's brand new event, and a fresh start for all events on the platform began. It lasted over 15 days, and the mission was to complete quests in over 100 games on the platform. When having completed a specific amount of quests, you were able to claim certain prizes from a pendant to a crown. Like March and April was a quiet month as well. The biggest update of the month was, however, on a large scale. The UGC item was opened to everyone who has verified account or Roblox Premium. This and a new avatar auto setup tool, which makes it possible for users such as yourself to learn how to create and sell 3D items on Roblox. May, however, was filled with a lot of updates, though on the small side of things. To start off, you can finally report someone's avatar. May, however, was filled with a lot of updates, though on the small side of things. To start off, you can finally report avatars within the game, and on a completely different note, the immersive ads, which can replace user ads, were available to all advertisers. Roblox Studio also got an update as 8 new materials were added for everyone. Finally, in the last days of the month, Roblox started a new event called The Classic. The focus was on old, or as the name implies, classic Roblox. We covered this in one of our news broadcasts this year, and let's see what we said to you guys back then.
It is not unusual for games to go retro, meaning hosting events where they bring back nostalgic memories. The most recent famous event of this type was when Fortnite brought back the original map for some time. Now it seems that Roblox might also be heading this way. In early May, David Baszucki, or the Builderman, announced that Roblox would be trying new types of events.
That was shortly after the Hunt, first edition. He also said that he had been having fun playing some of his older games. Roblox's official Twitter account replied to that post with eyes emojis hinting at this new event. Shortly after that, a user asked whether or not they would bring back old Roblox or keep new Roblox. To that, Roblox replied, "Soon you won't have to choose." Amongst the things found in the Classics leak so-called is the Tix currency and their old logo used from 2006 to 2017. All leaks point to both of these things being some type of currency, possible for an in-game treasure hunt of some kind. But what do the players in some of the games think about it?
I tried on many different occasions to get in touch with some players to interview, but no attempt was successful. After many texts in our server, group page, and even in normal games, I had to use the second best option. What do you think about the brand new Roblox Classic update? Do you think this will inspire new types of events on Roblox? Now, the Roblox events in the past have been gradually getting worse according to many ex-users. What is your take on it? Did you play the first version of The Hunt? Will you take part in the next event? What do you want to see in the event? What do you think of the latest Roblox updates? Even though we did not get any answers from the players, we can expect this to be big. Will this be the start of a new era in Roblox events, or will this just be a one-time thing? No matter what happens, though, this event will be remembered for a long time as the most nostalgic event in the gaming site's history.
This brings back so many memories. However, let's jump into June now. The biggest story that month was undoubtedly the final removal of user ads. As previously said, immersive ads can replace them. However, many users on the platform raised their concerns as these ads are not as creative as user ads were. That is likely because the immersive ads showed real game thumbnails instead of clickbaity images or just simply cringe ads like some of these shown on the screen right now. We are halfway through our overview of the platform changes on Roblox this year. Little to nothing happened in July. We tried our hardest to find interesting things that happened that month, but the only thing we found is that apparently everyone has July off. In August, changes were made to the ban system with the new ban API. For the first time, you were able to ban an alt account at the same time as banning a main account. This is all done within the next ban management dashboards. Also in August, search ads can replace sponsored ads. The two kind of are very similar, however, sponsored ads appeared everywhere for everyone. On the other hand, these new search ads appear only for people who search related to the ad. Most users like this update that we are aware of. Now, September was interesting. As some of you know, the Roblox Intervention Awards were held with multiple winners who were both expected and unexpected.
And the winner is Dress to Impress!
Dress to Impress was the winner of the event with 3 awards. But these awards were not the only thing that happened. Activity history was added to the Roblox studio, and let me tell you, it would have been a game changer to have that a couple years ago when this happened to our game. Also in September, a 3D import cube was added, making it significantly easier and faster to import meshes or 3D models in general to Roblox Studio. Let's look at October now. That was a month where the thumbnail personalization was added. How that works is that if you have anywhere between 2 and 5 thumbnails, Roblox will automatically show the best thumbnail. That is evaluated through the amount of plays in a specific group. Those thumbnails could vary in groups. For example, children under 13 could get this thumbnail. Meanwhile, adults over 18 could get this thumbnail. Also in October, private messages between users on Roblox were closed down. In a statement, Roblox said that the reason was for this was because of low usage, and that the new phones will come to replace these messages in the near future. In November, the biggest story was without a doubt the change to the parental controls. As many of our users know, we did make a story on it. Let's see the story.
Have you ever been playing Roblox and then this happens to you? Lately, Roblox has severely increased parents' ability to control their kids' Roblox accounts. This might just be the biggest update ever to the parental control features. It completely changes how everything there works. Some features have been added while others have been removed. Some of these new features include controlling their children's access to games, controlling whether or not their children can speak in games, and last but certainly not least, controlling their screen time. But how is Roblox going to be tackling this? Well, they aren't. They plan to make every Roblox creator take a quick questionnaire about how appropriate their experience is. We are not aware of what the consequences of lying on this form might be, but likely it might resolve in the game getting removed. The RBC games are a few of the many games on the platform which have had to take this form for players under 13 to be able to play the game. This new change means that anyone under the age of 13 is not able to play unrated games. Any games that display any kind of blood, alcohol, violence, crude humor, or even socialization with other players will get moderated and locked for users under 13. This change has certainly been controversial, as you can see on these tweets and Discord chats on our own server. It is clear that people have strong opinions on this update, but what might be the reason for this? Some people believe that this might be the result of Roblox being banned in Turkey due to the dangers it poses on kids. We talked to our Turkish correspondent about this matter, and this is what he had to say. How has the ban in Turkey affected you personally?
As a Turk, it actually sucks, to be honest. Many content creators are left unemployed and don't have any other stuff to do. Plus the government is under a lot of pressure.
Do you think that these new parental controls will get the ban lifted?
I think it will, and if they open an office in Turkey then 100%. They are planning to do that.
Why was Roblox banned in the first place?
It said that there was bad content that could have affected children. That didn't happen.
What do you think about these new controls overall?
They're gonna be useful. It can change the whole community and players and their families.
Have you noticed this being an issue on the platform? Kids being in danger, that said.
Not at all. It's literally nonsense. That's what they want us to believe, and it's a global problem.
But will these parental control features get even stronger in the future, or is this enough? If you had been in control of these new parental controls, would you have made them this strict?
It depends.
How so?
I'd probably focus on customizable settings so parents can choose the level of control they need. Also, education campaigns for parents about using these tools effectively would also help more than overly strict rules.
But do you think that these controls will get stronger in the future, or is this it?
They will just leave it as it is.
But that was not the only thing that happened in November. That was the month where we saw the friend limit increase from 200 to 250, with further plans to go on about 1,000 in 2025. Why they didn't do it immediately is unknown. This was also the month where groups were finally renamed the communities after some preparations by the Roblox team. And let's finally end this overview in December, where we saw the introduction of Roblox parties, as many of you might remember. This is kind of a return of an old feature that the platform had. This time, up to 6 players can join a call and talk together while playing games together. Some people have criticized this update, as many people seem to have a problem with leaving a party and let alone ending it. This, however, may just have to be some little starting hiccups, as some might call it. But that is the year on the Roblox platform in review. Back to you guys at the desk.
Toddy, amazing reporting. Thank you so much for that thorough overview of this year. I personally didn't remember so much happening. It's clearly a lot has changed. And I want to ask you all, guys, what do you think the biggest change this year was? And it doesn't have to be like a list. It doesn't have to, you don't have to make a list like the RBC newsroom. I just want to know the number one change that you think. And yeah, so
I think the number one thing that I've seen change on Roblox, a lot of people say this is actually quite a minor change, but I would say that it is most likely the ban in Turkey that definitely affected the platform the most. I'm not quite sure on the actual statistics of it, but they lost probably at least 100,000 players on average, which is quite a big impact on Roblox. Obviously we get billions of players a day, but 100,000 players is still a big impact, and that definitely changed Roblox. I'd say for the worse,
yeah.
because it reduces diversity on the platform, and
Yeah, no, exactly, yeah.
Another thing on top of that is, I know this isn't exactly to do with Roblox, but that definitely shows that Turkey's taking a turn for possibly less, social freedom by blocking these Western sites.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Of course, that was a major story, and I think he covered in there. And of course, that's not only the only country that it got banned, that it has been banned in or whatever. But earlier today, we got an aspiring artist into our studio to get us all into the mood for the new year. They are going to do a little performance for us. Here's the song.
New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Ay, new phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Ay, 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 pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' ay, 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 all out, it's all I do, babe. Ay, 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 new phone, who this? New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. New phone, who this? I'ma pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' try me, that's real stupid. Go all out, it's all I do, babe. Pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' ay, 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 all out, it's all I do, babe. Ay, 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 pull up in a brand new whip. You gon' ay, 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 new phone, who this? Somebody give me, somebody give me, somebody give me. it's all I do. Hey, pull up in a brand new whip. You got hey, no fun with this.
What a lovely song. It's clear these people have some true talents. But Giorgio is going to take it over for the second part of this very new show segment. Take it away, Giorgio. It's all you.
It's time for a new segment on this show that we're hoping to become a regular and permanent part of our show in the coming years. Now, as you might think, being a famous developer, YouTuber, influencer, or even a known player on Roblox can be very hard. It's incredibly stressful, and you often don't get much credit or even discussion, except for when you do things wrong. We want to give these players a bit more credit as they rightfully deserve. Therefore, we're introducing our RBC's Player of the Year, which is, of course, speak about our very own newsroom. This year, we look thoroughly into the biggest story we covered this year and what you, our viewers, seem to enjoy. One name kept coming up again and again. This person has been dedicated to making the Roblox role-playing community better and has made it a promise to always listen to its fans. Ladies, gentlemen, and anything in between, please welcome RBC's Player of the Year, Audida. Welcome and congratulations for being our Player of the Year. How does it feel?
Thank you. It feels great to be here. Great to get the award and all that.
Now, you were picked as the Player of the Year by our newsroom, as we found it very brave of you to just make a new game for the entire community to enjoy when the developers of the game you guys played weren't listening to you. What would you say was the final straw that made you guys create this project of Suncrest RP?
I used to be a really big fan of Bloxburg. I still am. And this was during the era in which basically everyone hated what they were doing at the time, where they didn't have Froggy as the main producer, director, I think. And so in response to this, I talked about it on Twitter with a few conference calls, about discussing the downfall of Bloxburg, that sort of stuff, with people like, let's see, I believe Mesh. I don't know where he went now. Mother Roblox, a lot of big people, but I talked to them and we got some funding behind it, and we began working on the game. And I'd have to say about 2 months into progress, where we were at a solid fan base, Bloxburg switched directive, and I was like, oh crap, like we gotta switch stuff up. So we completely did a 180. We're making our game much, much further different from what they are, and we don't want to be seen as a copy. Because at the time, everyone hated Bloxburg. But now, with the recent improvements, it's only logical that we differentiate and add specific features that other games may not have.
You said that the community will be very involved in this new project. How so?
Yeah. So, in the beginning of building the first map, I talked with a lot of people in the Discord community about what we could do to improve it. Someone recommended an airport, should we build an airport? And someone else also said, like, what about a mountain to be hiking on? So we did a mountain. And then we realized that the first initial map was kind of barren, flat, And so what we did was we completely tore down the old map and started working on a new one, which isn't complete yet. It's almost complete. We're just working on the final terrain editing. But what we really are doing now is half community feedback and half developer talking in our dev chats. But we're still trying to listen to community, but we have to keep some stuff secret for some time to really build up hype, build up secrecy, that sort of motivational tension in the fan base.
But how will this game be different from like other role-playing games in like very simple terms?
The one thing we're really putting a lot of money into is the build mode. The build mode, I've been a Roblox developer for 5 years. Probably more than 5 years at this point. I'm getting pretty old. But the studio is like a complete sandbox. Like if you gave steroids to Minecraft in a way, and Bloxburg, The Sims 4, Plaza, Rowville, all those sort of games, they do an amazing job at trying to replicate that, but they can never really get it. There's some features and bugs that are missing, and so what we really want to do is create the best build mode on Roblox and in comparison to other games, because I myself, as an engineering student, can see a lot of flaws. I try to do realistic builds, but it's just really hard to do that with the limitations put in place from other games.
That's kind of nice, isn't it? Now, I heard that you aren't only focusing on SunQuest RP, right? Like, what are the things are you focusing on?
Yeah, well, we're actually working with, ironically, RBC right now on a game called Conventions, which is going to act as a marketplace and socialization hub with a question and answer Q&A booth, like that old Rate My Avatar game, which I'm pretty sure got shut down for bad moderation, but we're gonna have a whole staff and mod team. I'm hoping we can do a report system. That'd be amazing. And we're gonna have a place where people can sell clothes, get hired as a programmer, as a developer. Just a really great place for conversating with one another. The progress on it's really great right now, and we have actually a slightly famous, I'd say, Twitter programmer who's helping us work on it, Alfred, who has been making a lot of great packs on Twitter. So if y'all want to have like check stuff out, see what kind of stuff we're working with, he's the guy. But we should be done in like a month or two.
Can't wait to see that. We got exclusives here. But as it is the end of the year, I need to ask you this question. People usually ask it like at the end of interviews, and that's what I'm going to do as well. Do you have any plans for New Year? That said, what project you will focus on, or just anything really, like even in real life?
I don't think I really have anything for New Year's planned, honestly. I mean, my family really just stays up until midnight, watches the ball drop in NYC, and then we just kind of just pass out, go to bed. But I've never really treated it as anything big. It's just Earth making a rotation around the sun.
Well, again, congratulations on being RBC's Player of the Year. Now, if we were a real company, we would of course give you a physical award. But as we're just a Roblox company, we had to be creative with the award. So this is what we came up with. Show them. As you can see, this kind of plaque where it states that you are RBC's Player of the Year 2024, etc. We don't think that you will want to put this into your games, so unlike awards which you will keep, we decided to go a little bit of a different way, and we will display this award in our lobby of our headquarters for everyone to see instead. But again, congratulations. I believe, however, that Sam is ready to tell you guys about the biggest news stories in the real world this year. Take it away, Sam.
Thank you, Parker. Let's get started with January. Undoubtedly, the first major story of the year happened on the 5th of January when a door plug on Alaska Airlines Boeing 737 MAX 9 plane flew off in mid-air. The plane landed safely with no injuries on board However, this ended up calling for a full-scale review on all Boeing 737 MAXs in the US. Let's now go to the Kingdom of Denmark. On the 14th of January, Frederick X became the king after his mother Margaret II retired from the throne after 52 years, and on the 17th of January, Japan became the 5th country in the world to make a soft landing on the moon. A soft landing is a controlled landing where there are no serious damages made. On the 24th of January, a Russian plane transporting 65 Ukrainian prisoners crashed near Kroshansky district, killing everyone on board. Let's head to February now. On the 4th of February, the president of Namibia, Hage Jimbob, died from cancer. He was 82 years old. Ngolia Mumba, the vice president, took over his duties, and more about the presidents, but this time in Finland. On the 11th, Alexander Stubb was elected as president in Finland's closest presidential elections to this day. On the 16th of February, major news broke out the death of Alexei Navalny. He was one of Vladimir Putin's biggest competitors. Officially, it said he died from a disease. Now it is time to head to March. This time we are going to talk about Sweden. On the 7th of March, Sweden became the last Nordic country to join NATO. Sweden became the 32nd member of the alliance, founded in 1949. A couple of days later, on the 13th of March, the European Union passes the world's first law regarding artificial intelligence. Let's talk more about Russia now, because on the 15th to the 17th of March, Putin was re-elected as president for the 5th term. On the 26th of March, news broke out that a container ship had hit a bridge in the United States, causing the bridge to collapse, killing 6 people. On the 3rd of April, an earthquake 7.5 on the Richter scale hit Taiwan, causing small tsunamis to form. In more positive news, Peter Pellegrini was elected as president of Slovakia on the 6th of April. On the 29th of April, there were reports of floods in Brazil killing dozens and leaving thousands homeless. Also, on that day, 50 people died in Kenya when a railway related to a dam failed. This whole month was filled with missile attacks between Iran and Israel. Let's now head to May, and specifically May 10th. That day, the United Nations granted the State of Palestine permission to be seated amongst other members of the states. And in more political news, because 5 days later, or on the 15th, the Prime Minister of Slovakia was shot while in a meeting. He was critically injured but managed to recover. And on the 19th, Luis Abinader was re-elected as President of the Dominican Republic. Let's go to the 26th of May now, as that was when Gitanas Nausėda was elected as President of Lithuania. And to end this month, Donald Trump, the former President of the United States, and actually the future President of the country, was found guilty on 34 counts in his hush money trial. This was the first time a former president has been found guilty of a crime. Let's now head to June, and this time to Iceland. On the 1st of June, Halla Tómasdóttir was elected the 7th President of Iceland. A day later, on the 2nd, another woman won a historic presidential election. In Mexico, Claudia Sheinbaum was elected president. On the 24th of June, Julian Assange, the founder of WikiLeaks, left the UK after being freed from prison after a plea deal with the United States. This officially ended a dispute that had lasted since 2010. And in July, Keir Starmer became the Prime Minister of the United Kingdom, the 4th one this decade. And as many of you know, one of the biggest news stories this year happened on the 13th of July. That was the day when Donald Trump was shot in the ear in his political rally for presidential elections in the United States. On the 26th of July, the Olympic Games in Paris officially started, with one of the most controversial opening ceremonies in the Games' history. And the month ended with devastating news from both the UK and India. On the 29th, a 17-year-old man from the United Kingdom stabbed 3 children to death and injured 10 others, 8 of whom were children. This started one of the biggest protests against immigration in the UK for years. And on the 30th of July, news broke that a landslide in Kerala had killed 334 and injured hundreds more. On the 24th of August, around 600 citizens in Burkina Faso were victims of a mass murder by Islamics associated with Al-Qaeda. But now, let's move over to September. On the second day of the month, Brazil banned the social media platform X, formerly known as Twitter, in the country. And on the 7th, Abdelmajid Tebboune was re-elected as president of Algeria. And more about new presidents, because on the 21st, Ainura Karuma Disraki is elected president of Sri Lanka. On the 23rd of September, 569 people were killed in Lebanon after an Israeli airstrike. This was the deadliest day in 18 years, or since 2006. And this month ended with the devastating news from America. Hurricane Helene had made a landfall in Florida and ended up taking the lives of 235 and left more than 685 people missing. Now, in October, Kais Saied was elected president of Tunisia on the 6th of October. A day later, Hurricane Milton became the first hurricane to reach the pressure below 900 millibars in nearly 20 years. On the 30th of October, Spain experienced the worst floods in the country in nearly 50 years. Over 200 are killed and many more were left missing. It is said that a year's worth of rain came down in under 8 hours. Let's head to November now, because on the third day of the month, Mir Sandu was re-elected as president of Moldova. And of course, as many of you know, Donald Trump was re-elected as president of the United States on the 5th of November for his second term. In Azerbaijan, COP29, a climate change conference, was held. It was criticised heavily for its poor human rights in the country, as well as the chief executive of the event recorded trying to make a potential oil and gas deals to other countries during the conference. Let's finally end this in December. One of the most famous criminal cases of this decade took place on the 4th of December when Brian Thompson, the CEO of United Healthcare, was shot and killed. The suspect, later identified as Luigi Maggioni, became loved by a large part of the internet for his attractiveness. It looks like the internet took the murderer's side. On the 7th of December, Notre Dame officially reopens after the fire that shocked the world in 2019. And let's end this overview on news that broke on the 24th of December, when Parker's solar probe became the first man-made object to touch the sun, as experts are calling this. But this wraps up this overview. Back to you guys at the main desk.
Well, that's certainly interesting. Did you guys think that the biggest news story, or what did you guys think the biggest news story that broke this year? Do you have any in mind from your own country? Maybe a world headline. What's the biggest story in the news that you think was from this year?
Here, I think I have one. I think the biggest story that came was it's about Bloxburg, including the fact that we saw those TikToks of people just like dumping those like boxes and just see like they're against with the developers. Basically, the players were against with the developers' ridiculous updates.
Yeah, no, that was a good story. Honestly, my probably biggest story from outside of like, like not Roblox, but just outside of the news was Trump assassination. That was my biggest headline, and I still think that's insane. Really, this whole year was filled with big stories, so it's very interesting to hear you guys' takes. But today does not only mark the end of the year, it also marks the end of the first quarter of the 21st century. Technically, it is next year according to Roman calendars. However, in recent years, many people have used this format to celebrate new decades and centuries. So we will, of course, celebrate with that. But a lot has changed in these 25 years, and Joni took together a short video showcasing all the biggest changes in the century. We're going to play the video, and then when we get back, Austin's going to deliver the entertainment report for this year.
2000. It's Saturday, January the 1st, the year 2000. Big Ben at midnight and a celebration like no other. Fireworks and festivities the length and breadth of the land. Good morning. Across the United Kingdom, people have been celebrating the start of the new
return when Pink followed Shakira on the red carpet in the same sparkling Balmain Mini, and I had to break the news.
North Alabama, the heaviest just south. Told you. The heavy. And number one, no matter if
Now, some very, very sketchy details reaching us here at Sky Centre. Important enough to bring to you, though, at this early stage. We believe that a plane has crashed into the World Trade Center in New York. That happened within the last few moments.
Oh, there's another one. Another plane just hit. Right. Oh my God. Another plane has just hit. It hit another building.
At this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger. We will pass through this time of peril and carry on the work of peace. We will defend our freedom. We will bring freedom to others, and we will prevail. May God bless our country and all who defend her.
Hello and welcome. Thousands of Northern Rock savers have queued for hours at branches to empty their accounts. Many more have withdrawn cash via the internet.
The bank rescue comes in three parts. £50 billion of taxpayers' money will be offered to strengthen banks' balance sheets in return for shares.
I'm fairly confident the euro is going to crash and it's going to fall pretty hard. Markets are ruled right now by fear. They don't buy this rescue plan.
It's very mysterious just people are spending all their credit on their canteen cards.
Á þann hátt með íslenska bjartsýni, æðruleysi og samstöðu að vopni, Guð blessi Ísland.
The global financial meltdown comes to Iceland. The government in this tiny island in the North Atlantic seizing the country's second largest bank.
We introduced currency controls, we let the banks fail, we provided support for the poor.
Volcanic ash has caused the worst disruption in air travel since 9/11.
Spectacular site in southern Iceland where a volcano is erupting near a glacier.
It has stranded millions of people and cost companies more than $1 billion in losses. It's an important volcano that we have been reporting on, yet as Dave Letterman pointed out last night, no one seems to know how to pronounce its name.
Eyjafjallajökull. Is this perhaps the next big thing? In Watertown, Massachusetts, Mark Zuckerberg, creator of Harvard's thefacebook.com.
No, I'm gonna have to go ahead.
College sophomore Marisol Romero isn't in class checking on her assignments. She's online checking out her classmate. It's called thefacebook.com.
An iPod, a phone. Are you getting it? Today, Apple is going to reinvent the phone. Well, what we're going to do is get rid of all these buttons and just make a giant screen. A giant screen.
So we bring you breaking news here on RT. A major fire
has broken out at the world-famous Notre Dame Cathedral in central Paris. And here we can show you the latest pictures. Huge plumes of smoke billowing into the air. This is clearly a very considerable...
Good evening. It is one of the most famous buildings in the world. It has stood on the banks of the River Seine for more than 800 years. Tonight, Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris is completely engulfed by fire.
A dangerous virus is spreading rapidly in China, and U.S. officials are very worried that it could come here.
Now to growing concerns about the deadly coronavirus officially hitting the U.S. Here's what we know.
Today, start working on not touching your face, because one main way viruses spread is when you touch your own mouth, nose, or eyes.
Put that needle down.
Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Congratulations.
This is a historic moment.
It's therefore with great hope that I declare COVID-19 over as a global health emergency.
Designed to generate responses to questions based on my understanding of natural language.
You've probably used it. You've definitely heard of it. ChatGPT has been hailed as a game changer.
Where the race for dominance in generative artificial intelligence has just stepped up a gear.
GPT is becoming more human.
Meanwhile, the technology here in our studio seems to be rebelling against us. But the company behind the program says its new update makes the artificial intelligence even more accurate.
you. 2024 was certainly an interesting year. Now, I won't take as much of your time as these three before me. But let's start right off in January with the Golden Globes. To the surprise of no one, the movie Oppenheimer was the overall star of the event with 5 awards. Let's stay in America for the yearly Super Bowl that took place in February. Kansas City won San Francisco by 3 points. The final score ended up being 25-22, Kansas City in favor. But let's head to the UK now for the BAFTAs. Oppenheimer was once again the winner of the event. For some people, the most memorable moment of the event was when the YouTube prankster Lizwani went on stage and stood in the back, while Oppenheimer cast were accepting one of their many awards.
I imagine when I was sitting at UCL Film Society with Chris and dreaming about making films for a living.
The biggest story in March was when Disney Plus announced their plans for an advertisement tier on the platform in Europe, shaking up the market a bit. Let's stay with the streaming platforms, and this time talk about Netflix. In April, the company announced their debut to the live sports coverage, making a foray in sports broadcasting. Let's head to Europe now, and this time to Sweden, where the world's biggest song contest was held. Of course, none other than the Eurovision Song Contest. Nemo from Switzerland took the trophy home to the origin of the contest. The Dutch entry was removed from the contest due to allegedly assaulting a staff member of the contest. This became one of the biggest controversies of the year event, as well as the participation of Israel. In June, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, album of the year was released. Of course, it was by Charlie XCX. The album made significant cultural impact with its bright green colors and design aspects, as you can see in this image. Let's head to July now. Deadpool and Wolverine was released globally at the end of the month. It became an instant hit, and it is said to be the highest growing R-rated film in movie history. Let's now head to September for the annual Emmy Awards. The start of the event were Baby Renender, The Bear, and Shotgun tied with the amount of awards. The biggest controversy of the event was widely considered that The Bear didn't win the award for Outstanding Comedy Series. Let's stay in America and talk about sports now. Most of you probably remember the historic Jake Paul versus Mike Tyson fight. The internet was built in their beliefs of who would win but in the end, Jake won the fight. Some people say that the Taylor scenario fight prior to the fight between Jake Paul and Mike Tyson was the better fight. But that is it for the entertainment of the year 2024. Back to you guys.
Thank you so much for this overview. We are about to reach the end of the program now, but if you take a look at your time, you might notice that it's become a new hour. What is more interesting, however, is that in one specific place on Earth, near the Line Islands, the so-called time right now is 23:58, which means you can guess it. The new year has officially entered the world and will be there in less than 2 minutes. I believe there's only around a minute left now, actually. So we want to celebrate by coming out in the new year and beginning by marking all the celebrations going on throughout the world. Let's cut to the celebrations now and we'll meet you back right here. And just like that, the new year has entered the world. In coming hours, it'll move from time zone to another, and finally, in 23 hours, it will have taken over the entire Earth, and the year 2024 will be gone and will never return, whether you like it or not. We at RBC want to wish you all a happy new year, and we hope you stay safe. And yeah, we want to wish you a happy new year. And at the same time, we want to thank all of you so much for the support this year as well. The time has ended in some parts of the world now, so we'll continue our job in the community this year, bringing you quality content, and we hope that you'll continue watching us for the last time in 2024. Stay with me, guys. Good night.
This is RBC Television.